Prosperous Life podcast. This is Braiden Belnap. If you're new, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you find this podcast valuable. And if you're back, thank you so much for showing up for yourself. When you transform, you're transforming this world ultimately. So it's an exciting time. Today we're talking all about prosperous awareness. What does that mean to me and you? Awareness is the first step to living a prosperous life. If you have a spider on your back, you can't get it off your back if you don't know it's there. And that's the ultimate topic today, is we want to find all the spiders, the snakes, the toxicity in our body, the toxicity of our lives, become aware of it, and transform it. And ultimately, if we implement awareness strongly into our lives will transform and our lives will become better one day at a time. Now, as we talk about awareness is the key to all transformation, when I wasn't aware of myself, my surroundings, the spiders on my back, the toxicity, the things that I was doing to other people, I was running on autopilot. And we're going to talk about that a lot today, is when I was running on autopilot through my thoughts, my emotions, my behaviors, and I wasn't thinking about it, I wasn't questioning it, it led me to a consistent disappointing myself, which led to disappointment of others for good reason. The moment I became aware and started to transform, doing drugs, the people I hung around, the thoughts, my emotions, what I believed in myself, when I became somebody different, my life looked completely different. It was black and white. It was a miracle. I believe I'm a miracle, and I believe you're a miracle. And if I can do it, I know that anybody else can, because I'm human just like you. Now, this is for you, whether you're fully aware of your life and everything you need to transform, which honestly, I don't believe any of us are there, or if you're just beginning your journey. At any point where you're at, you can always learn more about awareness, because it's the ultimate thing that will lead you to the transformation into the life that you want. So I'm very excited about today's podcast, because today we're talking about the problem of people running on autopilot and not questioning the normal things of life and not growing in areas of life that they've dreamt about. Today we have an opportunity to transform and becoming aware and really creating the life that we've dreamed about in the past, bringing that out again and developing a life that we know that we deserve. So today we'll talk all about our current state. Our life is created moment to moment. We're going to talk about a process I developed called Utah. It's EUTA. And the process of transforming just about anything in your life. And then, of course, we want to raise our standards. As we go through this podcast, it's crucial to understand growth is not a destination. We will not all, by the time we die, there's no way we'll be able to achieve everything we've wanted, as long as you're growth minded. There's always another book to learn. There's always another topic to research. There's always another conversation to be held. We will not reach the point of growth that we could in life, because we always have more growth to go. And that's okay, and that's what's so exciting. So with that in mind, let's jump right in. Let's talk about the current state, because this is the fundamental of awareness. Current state is the fundamental of awareness, because our life is created moment by moment. Our moments that we live in this world add up to be great, in a good way or a bad way. Now, we live moment to moment, so this moment right now is going to influence the next moment, and that moment's going to influence the next moment. And life is created by causes and effects. This moment is a cause, and the next moment is an effect of the cause. So most people overlook their current moment, seeking that big moment, not realizing that this moment right now is actually the moment that leads to the big moment that you're looking for. And ultimately, by those people looking for the big moments, that $1 million, the yachts, the boats, the private jet, the big business, getting married, having kids, being able to retire, whatever that big moment is for you, have it. But don't so focus on it that you miss this moment, because the people that focus on the big moments, forgetting about this moment, tend to miss both of them. We today have an opportunity to master this moment that's gifted to us. If we master the gift and we create this moment and influence greatness, the chances of us achieving that big moment are much higher. But if we forget about this moment and we're just looking at the big top of the mountain, in terms of it, we most likely won't get there. Each moment influences each other. So let's say we're in this moment and this is a cause. Is this moment great or is it bad? Is it average? Is it extraordinary? What is it? Because the next moment, if it's great now, you have a higher chances of it being great the next moment. If it's bad this moment, there's a higher chance that the next moment's going to be bad as well. Now, I want to also highlight that the moment you recognize that a moment isn't good, it isn't serving, or it's neutral, you have the power of choice to transform that moment. And if you choose to be your cause, to transform moment by moment, then the next moment is going to be changed into something extraordinary. And your chances of achieving the big moments are higher. Now, recognize that you also, moment to moment, are influencing the power of others. Moment to moment. You could be in a really good mood, uplifted, positive, business-minded, we're going to achieve success-minded, and overall just growth-oriented. And just by putting yourself in a room of people that aren't as, let's say, growth-oriented, you can influence the others to begin to be growth-oriented. Or vice versa. There could be 10 people at a party having a good time. And you could be in such a low vibrational state that you can walk into that room and ruin everybody's night. Simply by a choice. You can either influence people on a good way, or you can influence them in a bad way. And every moment you are consciously choosing that on a subconscious or conscious level. So my question to you is, in this moment, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel right now? 1 being really good, 10 not being so great. Where are you at? Small questions like this on a moment-to-moment basis. I'm not saying you always have to question yourself or ask yourself questions. But once in a while, checking on yourself on a day-to-day basis before you go into a party. How am I feeling? What are my thoughts? Before you go and hang out with somebody, what am I feeling? What are my thoughts? Those are 2 questions. Obviously, there's a lot. But that immediately allows you to understand and evaluate where you're at in the moment. That way you can understand the gap. So let's say, scale of 1 to 10, let's say I'm a 3. I'm pretty good. I then can understand how I can fill that gap. Just by becoming aware of the gap, you can understand where you're at to transform that gap so that you can be at a 1 and you can be living life when you walk into that party, when you walk in to hang out. This moment, if you become aware of it, you now have the power to transform it. It's like the spider on the back. Once you identify the spider, you can get it off your back. Once you recognize where you're at emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, you can identify the gap and what's going on. So you can either get rid of something or you can add something into your life to transform that. Now, I wanted to talk about the natural process of human emotion, thoughts, behaviors, and results. So when you're human, which we all are, you're going to have a thought, which is going to turn into emotion, which is then going to turn into a behavior. This behavior will either be an action that was consciously chosen by you, or it's going to be a reaction. This is going to cause you a result in your life. Most people, this is what I'm talking about, autopilots. Most people have a thought, have an emotion, have a reaction or an action which causes a result. And that alone affects yourself and others. And this is what either tips you forward to be moving towards your goals and your life vision, or it's going to tip you backwards and you're going to be moving backwards into regret into the future. So in my opinion, I want to tip forward. I want to go to my goals. I want to go to my life vision. I don't want to tip backwards. I don't want to go backwards. Sometimes we do need to take 1-2 steps backwards to go forwards. And sometimes we need those lessons in our life, and that's okay. Although the moment I recognize I'm going backwards, I want to become aware of that and transform that so I can start moving forward again. So we want to insert pattern interrupts immediately. When you have a thought, if you can stop it before it hits you. So let's look at it in sports. Somebody throws a baseball at you. If you catch it with your mitt, it doesn't hurt. So you don't have an emotion. The behavior is that you caught it and you throw it back. And the result of that is you have a successful either successful just playing ball, you and your kid. And that's what you can do with these thoughts. Baseball thrown at you, you catch it, and that's the pattern interrupt. How are you catching this thought and how are you transforming it? So let's stop for a moment, because if somebody throws a baseball at you and you get hit, it hurts really bad. And that's what the natural autopilot human behavior is. You're getting hit with baseballs every single day and you're not even aware of it. And it's hurting you spiritually, physically, mentally, without being aware of it. So next time a thought comes at you, let's pattern interrupt it together. Now, pattern interrupts can be very simple, but profound. So let's say you're at a party and you have a thought come in. You start judging yourself. Okay, you're going to catch that, recognize that it's not true, and we'll go deeper into transforming this into the next section of talking about Utah. But imagine this. You stop it. Recognize that's not true. You can go to the bathroom. Let's say you're at a party. And you can sing in your head. You can hum. You can dance a little bit. You can pose, like do a power pose. You can flex. You can stand like a superhero. You can say an affirmation. You can say a declaration. You can even do this in your head without going to the bathroom. Now you can do this throughout your entire day. If you're at the office, if you're at home alone, if you're with your spouse, if you're with your kids, if you're on a hike, doesn't matter where you're at, sometimes those thoughts just come. You can have the pattern interrupt. And what happens is you have a thought, you catch it, you do a pattern interrupt, it doesn't hurt you, which causes a different thought, which creates a new emotion, which creates a different behavior, which creates a different result. And that's what we want to master. moment to moment, if we're transforming and putting this pattern interrupt into place, so you become the cause of your destiny in this moment of what takes place, which influences yourself and others to tick forward towards their goals and their life vision, and overall just having a better life vibration. That turns into a better moment the next. And if we master these moments, those big moments are going to happen for us. Imagine if you achieved everything you set your mind to, simply by transforming moment to moment. And that's exactly what you can do. Now, that is more of that's okay, because this is going to be, we want to take that place. We want to make sure we're implementing that into this. But before the thought and the natural progression of human emotions is seed, and this is the big cause. The effect is the thought, the emotion, the behavior, the result. So ultimately, we want to transform the true seed of this. If we don't get to the seed, if we don't get all the roots up, ultimately it's going to come back. So let's transform that. When we begin to transform the small things, it's going to lead to transforming the big things, which will ultimately transform your life into achieving your life vision. This will also help influence others to help them transform their lives as well. So most people, again, allow the process of thought, emotion, behavior, result to take place on autopilot, which makes their entire life not really them. Sometimes these thoughts, these emotions, these behaviors are learned. And it's unauthentic. We don't question it. We don't grow it. And some people live like that forever. So in this moment, you have an opportunity just to listen a little bit deeper into this podcast and learn how to transform either this moment or something major in your life, leading you to a prosperous life. So the first, we talked about judging yourself at a party. You did a pattern interrupt. You feel good in the party. Now we're back home. You write this down. I judge my looks when I'm around people. So you evaluated. You did the first step of Utah. You've evaluated. You have a very well understanding of what's happening, what result you're not okay with, what thought, what emotion, what behavior you just don't want in your life anymore. You understand that you just want to have fun. You want to love yourself. You want to love yourself so much that you don't judge yourself. That you know that you are beautiful the way you are, and that everybody else is also beautiful the way they are. So we evaluate your thoughts, emotions, actions, reactions, results, people. Anything in your life that you're not happy with, you can evaluate. Whether that's I'm very aware and evaluating that I want something in my life, or I'm very aware and I evaluate that I don't want something in my life. So become aware. That's the first step. Again, there's a spider on my back. I want to get rid of it. Or there's not a spider on my back and I'm grateful for that. So I want to go bring something extraordinary in my life. I don't know. I want to get a cat or a dog. That doesn't really tie into it. But the point is, there may not necessarily be something wrong. You just may evaluate and understand you want to bring something in your life. Right now, Megan's trying to convince me to get a dog. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Now, we want to understand, what's the pain? If you consistently have this judgment over yourself when you're around people and you don't feel beautiful and you don't have that self-love, what's that pain? Are you going to achieve your life vision? Are you going to achieve your goals? Is this even coming from you? Did your parents say something? Did society? Did friends? Did somebody instill this in you? Because honestly, I truly believe everybody's beautiful And I honestly believe myself is beautiful, the way I am. I'm very confident in that. Whoever told you you aren't enough, whoever told you, let me take a step back. If you have thoughts that you are not beautiful, you are not enough, you're not worthy, this isn't your voice. You need to get this out of your head. So where is that coming from? This isn't you. This is either the devil, society, parents, friends, siblings, cousins, I don't know, but it's definitely not yours. Because you as a soul, if you looked at yourself, it's the best version of yourself. You are absolutely beautiful. So what is the pain? And how does that affect your future? How does that affect this current moment? Now, the pleasure, what would the pleasure of transforming be? You understand where it's coming from. You understand it's going to affect your future. You understand it's affecting your current moment. And you understand that you don't necessarily like yourself. What would it do to transform all of that? What would your future look like? Just loving yourself. If you don't have kids right now, the power of loving yourself and then you loving them and you teaching your kids that it's okay to love yourself the way you are exactly. What's the pleasure? How about now you may not have kids? What's the pleasure just going to the party and being so confident with yourself that you know you're so beautiful? That would be pretty powerful, in my belief. So you understand, and you're very aware that you want to make that change. You know exactly what you want to bring in your life or what you want to get out of your life. And you understand the pleasure and the pain of taking it out or bringing it in. Now transforming. So what do you want to transform into? So let's say I don't love myself, I don't have confidence. So that's a pretty simple one. Of course, what we want to transform that into is loving yourself. It maybe start even with liking yourself. You want to transform into being comfortable with people, around people that you think that you look up to, that you want to be like, and that's okay too. But you don't want to be insecure around them. So we want to begin taking, that's the third step. You want to transform it. What are we transforming into? So again, going back to this pattern interrupt, as you take out these seeds and these weeds and these roots, it's ultimately going to try to come back into your life. And once you go through this process, it's very quickly and it's already done, so you can process this once again. So let's say after you go through this, a week later you're at a party and that limiting belief comes back that you're not beautiful. They're beautiful. You can immediately say, no, that is not true. That's not getting me to where I want to go. I know exactly where I want to go, and I know I'm not enough, and I know I'm worthy, and I know I'm beautiful. That is powerful. So become aware of the transformation. Now we want to take action, right? So what brings self-love into the equation as we're talking about this situation? If I was in this situation personally, and trust me, I've had times where I didn't really love myself. I didn't even really like myself. And I'm sure every single person listening to this can agree with that statement. As some form or another, we're human. Even if it was just for a moment, you may have not loved yourself or liked yourself. And that's okay. So what action can I take? We want to take immediate action, and then we want to take action long term. This is a long-term thing we want to bring into our life. We don't take 10 minutes and then all of a sudden it's into our life like that. This is going to take time. And guess what? Even when you love yourself, just like a relationship and a marriage is hard work, loving yourself is going to be work as well. You have a relationship with yourself that needs to evolve. So action. Right now, you're aware of it. What can you do to love yourself? An affirmation. I believe I'm beautiful. I know I'm beautiful. I am beautiful. A declaration. Something like declaring your life. So I declare I am the most beautiful version of myself. I am the most beautiful version of myself. I am my best self. Maybe dancing. Motion equals emotion, right? So maybe dancing, singing, again, something that gets your body moving to feel alive. You can't physically be doing something that brings a good emotion and not have a good emotion. So just take quick action right now. Now, long term, develop a strategy, whether that's journaling, meditating, dancing, singing, declarations, affirmations, going on hikes, working out. What can you do long term to instill your beauty? Now, that is one example of many. You can implement the evaluation, understanding, transformation, action into any issue you're going through right now. So push it, evolve, enjoy life. You can transform into the life that you want, and it's moment to moment. Now, we want to raise our standards. We will never reach our peak growth, as I mentioned. Never. Most people peak and stop growing, but personal development is not a destination. It is a consistent journey that is never ending. And honestly, even when we die, my personal belief is we didn't just reach our growth there. We'll be growing forever. So today you have an opportunity to grow forever or to peak and not reach the peak opportunity that you have. Life's a mountain. If you're here, you recognize this gap, you can start growing. Most people peak and think that's good enough. This is a pretty enough view, but they don't realize that if they just kept hiking, they could have met and saw such a much beautiful view, a much more beautiful view. So transform. Ask yourself, where have I not transformed in a while that I know I want to? Is that your sleep schedule? Is that your career, your business, your relationships? Where have you peaked off? Where have you not grown? You can always be transforming and growing in any area, and that is a fact. So whether that's a relationship with a parent, spouse, kids, yourself, whether that's business, financially, where have you not grown in a while that you know you can raise your standard and begin to grow again? Recognize balance is not a thing. People are over here talking about balance with family, friends, business, career, yourself. Balance is not a thing. Honestly, when I'm doing good in my business, when I'm doing good in my career, guess what else is doing good? My relationship with my spouse, my family, my friends, financially. Guess what happens when I'm doing really good with my relationships with my spouse or my friend's family? My business is doing super good. My career is doing super good. It doesn't have to be this society standard of if I'm working really hard in my business, my relationships don't have to be good. No, you can be mastering all at the same time and always evolving. You're capable of anything. You just have to become something different. The moment I became somebody different, the moment I believed that I had a soul, the moment I believed I was somebody extraordinary, the moment I believed I could live a prosperous life and making an impact, is the moment my thoughts changed, my emotions changed, my behavior changed, and my results changed. The moment I stopped living on autopilot and following society and friends and things that weren't leading me to success, the moment I grabbed hold, moment to moment, began to say my sorries, began to give the hugs, began to give the I love yous, and began to do the things for me and others, is where my life transformed. I wanted to see myself live a life that I believed was extraordinary, and now I'm here. And I know you're capable of that as well. Just remember that life's created moment to moment, so don't look at the big moments and miss the little ones. Because if you do that, just by overlooking the little ones, you'll also miss the big. This moment's a gift. Don't forget that. From there, you want to evaluate, understand, transform, and take action and begin to get those spiders off your back so you can live an extraordinary life. From there, you want to raise your standards. Now today, mastering awareness and bringing that prosperous awareness into your life is the first step to living a prosperous life. So begin to transform everything. Take it one step at a time. If there's 10 things you need to transform and you're very aware of that, let's take it one step at a time. From there, I want to thank you again. If you're new, thanks so much for showing up. If you've been showing up week after week, I really appreciate you transforming yourself so we can impact this world together. If you enjoyed this episode, check out the list of episodes above. This is number 23. This has been a journey, so it's exciting. Now subscribe, leave a review, and I love hearing feedback, whether good, what I could be doing better on. So reach out to me at Braiden Belnap on social media. Thanks so much and have a wonderful rest of your day.